it look easy. It's exciting to see if they can do it again here for the grand finals. One step closer to games beginning. Mr. Savage and Vadil, you know we got to talk about these guys. They ended first place after yesterday's lower bracket. First place from the last chance major. They have something to prove, and they're here to show it.
Talk about clutching up when it matters. I mean, I've talked about it multiple times. It's just a duo that makes sense. They're so smart. Mr. Savage has so much experience, especially on the big stage. More than 10 in-person event appearances, and then Vadil teamed up with him. The mechanical prowess, it's all there.
Savage has played on stages like this as much as anybody else in the world of Fortnite. He will know, but Vadil, he's been the one in crunch time this year that has really put the performances in to seal the deal. And even though there'll be pressure on him, Vadil will be ready.
I'm ready. For more duos, let's get the next 10 in here.
Let's get a big warm welcome for Yopso and Rise. Consistency is key here, and they proved it all year long. Now is the time to finish what they started.
Let's hear it now for Alex and Worthy. As the only OCE team in the lobby tonight, this is their chance, and the pressure is on to take home the LAN title.
Please meet Trulex and Chicho. FNC experience and titles are plenty here. However, a LAN title is still to be secured. The opportunity is rare, but it's here. It's now.
And this is Shari and Giros coming smoking hot out of day number 1. Now they're focusing in on today. There's no time to waste. This is it for them.
Make some noise for Bobby and Larpex. First Asian team to make it to the grand finals, but they are not done yet. The trophy is within their grasp.
Pars in Baka, everyone. With a solid performance in the upper bracket, these guys have to be ready now more than ever to take it on in the grand finals.
Here we have him, Ashedes and Striker. Brazil is not to be messed around with. These guys are here to prove they can challenge everyone on the international stage.
Foil and Sphinx are not to be messed with, taking home a victory royale in the upper bracket. They are now here to show if they can do it again. Pressure is on.
Give it up for Queasy and Benno! Today's menu says comeback. Second in the Invitational, second in the upper bracket, but now it is time for a first place finish.
And here we have Kenny and Seti. These guys are used to lifting trophies this weekend. They are looking to add another one to the collection. Of all the duos here, we could say they have the most pressure. This is getting real. Every single wave, man. A duo we wanted to highlight here from OCE, Alex and Worthy Levin. We kind of have been talking about this every time we've seen them. Worthy, a phenomenal player. Then you pair him with someone like Alex, who OCE as a whole are just like, this is our guy. I can't wait to see how they perform.
I am so excited about this duo, right? You know, it's rare we get to see some of the smaller regions step up the way they did in the upper bracket finals. 6th place is no shabby feat at all. And personally, when you look at their playstyles, Alex, man, one of the most electrifying players there is in Fortnite. When he turns it on, when he decides he wants to get in a limb, he's getting in a limb.
Top 25 in every single. Can they do it again and represent OCE?
Absolutely. Arena, make some noise. Let this last wave of players hear you. Let's meet them.
Double odds, Re and Rituals are in the house. NA is their home turf, but after upper bracket, Denmark certainly looks comfy for them as well. Can they keep up the pace?
Don't blink, we have Hen and Bosque from last chance major to the lower bracket and then to the grand finals. Now they are here where they belong. All they have to do is seal it up.
Age doesn't matter for Moneymaker and for Nyan. Young and talented are key words for these guys, and now they're here to give it their all.
Everyone is like crowding for Moneymaker because no one's seen his face on that today.
Vanyak and Carmi, ladies and gentlemen, fighting their way back out of the lower bracket. They are now here to prove themselves worthy as a grand finals team.
Put your hands together for Duke and Edgy with an NA Major 2 title in the books and a massive clutch on the day too. It's time to add another one. Tonight is that chance.
Here we have, straight out of Asia, Shalom and MK Papa. This team right here has popped off, making their region proud, but they need to continue to make their mark.
Welcome Kaizen and Clement. Making it to the Global Championship Grand Finals is an achievement in itself. However, there is still plenty up for grabs for this team.
Let's hear it for Scented and Polarized. All of the FNCS experience has been put to use. It's now or never for these guys, and here they are to show it.
This is Kanata and Agers dominating the NA region and now ready to dominate Denmark. Eyes are on the prize for these guys.
Last but not least, Denmark makes some noise for Malabuka. Thomas HD. They are holding the fans high, and they're missing only one thing. That's an FNCS title. Copenhagen, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all are losing your minds. You guys are in the same place as we are. We want to see games. We are so close, but man, this feels so good. There's so much electricity in the air. We saw them start first. Reet and Ritual out of NA. We've seen them perform well. What can they do here?
We've been talking a lot about how everybody has been placing in some of these games. Well, what about the eliminations? On day number 1, both of them, a part of this duo, finished in the top 10 for individual eliminations, 10 and 11 respectively, for a combined total of 21.
They were popping off, right? And that's the kind of thing, especially when, you know, we want to see controller players represented. You know, he's a controller player. Put a throwback on for that one every day. But look, I think when it comes to how they play in this server, they need to stick to what was working with them. Be aggressive as possible when you can.
That's right, guys. I'm getting word we are so close. So let's kick it on up to Jacob PR and MDF to keep this moving.
Thank you so much, Zeke. Let's keep this show on the road. I'm so excited here. It's game 1 in just a few moments. The expectations are through the roof.
That's right, and you already know it's gonna be explosive. So as we start to gear up now, let us do it, because game 1 is ready.
Let's get it. Day 1. Oh, not day 1. Day 3. Grand final. Who do y'all
Game
think
number
is gonna
1
get top 1?
of the grand finals is upon us. We already know what is in store. Nothing but explosive action and early game contention.
Yeah, we got a couple of off-spawn fights we've seen before. We got
Wait,
even
who's that
more
little
than
purple
that
one on the
today
bottom?
for the
Check, who's
first
that little
time.
purple one on
And
the
I think the
bottom?
crowd already knows which ones they want to see right
look,
out of the
there's
gate.
two.
It's only a
Okay,
matter of
keep it
time
real.
before these players actually drop down on this map. And there goes the first one. The crowd, everybody's been waiting for this one. The rematch, Thomas and Malabuka versus Kanata and Agers.
Kanata said it. He has the best drop. He's always going to touch first, and they do just that. But Thomas HD does have a weapon as well. Kanata has a side angle here onto Thomas HD, and he throws the first tags. It's a trade, but he gets the full finish, and he won't get healed. And now, Kanata and Rangers are on top, game number 1.
We've already seen what they can do with the freedom of
Wait,
their
Bryson
drop
by
spot.
himself.
First place
Yeah,
throughout the day, but they ended up in second. They're looking to mimic that type of play. Cammy and Seti, even though they might have been contested to start day number 1, they were able to pull through. They pushed that team away, and now they have claimed Frenzy Fields as their own.
What an incredible set of eliminations over at the racetrack. But look, Seti and Cammy have to as well. Who would have thought they would have been contested here on the drop? So the Frenzy Fields is not safe at all.
This is a little bit of that replay. That's Datus and
Oh, they
Stain, and
came
a
back.
monster shot already coming out from Seti. He finishes that one. On the other side of things, you got to imagine Cammy chased them down. A huge start for our European powerhouse.
And vamos for Kitos and PH-Zin also sitting at 2 eliminations here. That means the Shady being fully contested. They win their off-spawn fight. What a grand finals this is. Already multiple teams going head-to-head. It's Sphinx with the clutch up on Cammy and Carmi and Vanyak there.
That is huge. Sphinx,
Wow.
he gets both of those eliminations. Even though Pollo did go
But
down,
Evo, I
he
don't
has a
even
chance
know
to
if
bring
they
him back. But in the
broadcasted
minimap,
that.
you already see 2 hungry teams looking at that direction. That's third-party opportunities. One of them is going to be Reet. The other one is going to be Rituals. All over the map, these teams are going to hear these fights, Monster, and they're going to try to third-party as fast as they can. They know Surge, it's hard to come by in lobbies just like this.
This is the fastest we have seen 14 players go down of any game we've watched over this entire weekend. Who would have thought this would be the most explosive time? Let's go take a look at some eliminations here. PH-Zin took on Axe Force and Robot from down low. The angles were so good, and this is how they converted.
And a little game of hide and seek with Roban. Axe Force trying to do the same thing, but he's just getting spotted out from all angles.
Not this right now.
Here, they're just going to hold on to the down body, and we already know what they want to do. They want to keep this body up and healthy to try to farm as much Surge as possible. That's the way you play it. MA, Podeside, M8, Snazy have worked so hard to get here. We saw the difficult hurdle that they have to overcome.
On day 1, thanks to Zagu and Pepoclip. It was mimicked in day 2, and this is why you know teams know that Surge is going to be a hard thing. They're med-misting the down body. They're doing everything they can just to give themselves a little bit of an edge early on in this game, even using the kinetic blocks. Every single tool in their tool belt is coming out early.
Hey, listen, we know that pro players keep strategies hidden, but my gosh, everyone is putting this to use, and we have to honestly give all credits to Pepoclip and Zagu for revealing it early, but I think they put this strat on the map.
Yeah, he's here. The French go very loud in the building. They like almost 100 chests, maybe a little bit fewer than that, but that allows for both of these teams to play the way that they want. One of them has already captured that vault. It's got to be Peterbot and Byla. So Bugha and Threats, instead of contesting it, they're just trying to farm up. They're just trying to get their loadout set and ready so they can make their first rotation when the zone begins to pull.
Let's not forget, Peterbot used to play with Bugha as well, you know, so there is some history there as they're going head-to-head, but Kaizen, Clement right now looking pretty solid here, just trying to get their rotation down. Pack team right on their heels. Meanwhile, Teeny potentially up against Thoric out there in the feed. We get to jump on over to Sentin and Polarize versus the youngins here. Fanyajin, Moneymaker's by himself. What can he do here?
Yeah, it was in game 5 where Moneymaker and F9 were able to qualify for this stage itself. Sentin and Polarize did it by brute forcing their way through with already 1 knock. It's a 2v1 situation. They're just trying to regain as much real estate as possible. All those pieces are theirs, and Moneymaker's doing what he can to bob and weave in and out of these covers, but his back is up against the wall. He's getting trapped little by little. The first elimination is going to be cleaned up, and they finally get the second. Moneymaker goes down. Polarize and Sentin make a statement at their drop.
Explosive, quick, easy, and trapped, put down Well played for Senton and Polarized there. They're going to be happy about that. Threats lingering everywhere, though. How is this still happening? There are more fights happening. It's Muzz and Paper. This time, onto the Brazilian duo.
Yep. Muzz, a duo region champion from both OCE and NA, teaming up with Paper. Paper's probably a very, very aggressive player. He knows how to play smart as well, just a full-on balanced play style. They switched up their drop spot from Breakwater Bay. They wanted to be uncontested, but quickly find themselves in yet another fight. But you see all these teams in the minimap, they're converging on their location because they want to try to get that free surge or what they think it is.
No one wants to fall behind, but now we get to look at Teeny and Misha jumping inside. This is how Thoric was taken down there. Thoric and Bolts have a difficult task in front of them now that they have Misha and Teeny. And that's the first time we've actually seen them find early success. They were contested in those other brackets, as we saw throughout the weekend.
Yeah, in upper bracket 1, they went ahead towards the north side of the map. They tried to go against Baka and Pars. They got pushed off, then they went into their bag of tricks. They did exactly what they did to qualify up until this point, and those tricks will continue. And how long has it been, Monster? A couple of minutes already, and they're still farming that surge onto Striker. These guys are setting the bar high when it comes to Storm Surge. There's going to be very few teams that will be able to keep up with them if they keep at this pace.
Yeah, they're trying to get themselves well and far ahead of the competition. It's an excellent strategy, and it's hard to replicate. You have to put yourself in that position. Notice how far they had to rotate just to get there as well. So positioning for that, setting up for that is no easy feat. You have to respect it, but this is high-level Fortnite. Here we go, though. Burstash, Tayson. Big fight here. Chicho and Trulex on the other side of the Slappy Shores. Already gonna need a move here shortly, but Metal gotta cap out first.
Yeah, and this was another drop, or at least the south side of Slappy that was contested. Trulex and Chicho versus Quanti and TK. Either Quanti and TK rotated out fast, or they got dropped off very, very quickly by Trulex and Chicho. Find out about that later, but Acorn and Cold, probably one of the most dominating performance in the upper bracket. In the international stage, for all that matter, they're looking to try to continue that run, but right out of the gates, we knew they were contested by both Pink and Vico, and it looks like both of these teams might have decided to split the drop. It's only game 1 of 6, so that could change very, very quickly, but they're trying to feel this lobby out. It's a much different set of players than they faced in that upper bracket.
Extremely proud of what Team Dignitas and Agent have been able to put together with their rosters. The performances are amazing, and again, Grand Finals, of course, is what matters most. We'll see where everyone ends up, but Flixie, Gripey here, seem to have been getting into a little bit of a hustle, a little bit of a fight here against our favorite Mr. Savage and Vadil. Vadil is one of the most dangerous when it comes down to toe-to-toe battles and defending in situations like this, but there's nothing you can do against two of the best. Flixie, Gripey, they closed it out.
Yeah, and they've been battling it out almost all year long, from major qualifiers to major grand finals. Flixie and Gripey, you know what? I think they're a little underrated at this point. I think everybody who qualified for this lobby is dangerous. They need to be able to come out on top in a lot of these exchanges, and you cannot overrate any of your opponents at any stage of this game.
There's two regions I wouldn't want to go toe-to-toe in an early box fight with. It's anyone from the previous NA West, now of course NA, but also EU players, and unfortunately that's exactly who are the ones asking those questions. Pixie and Cheatin', however, though, are going to fend off several pair of EU ones themselves. This is match 1 of the grand finals. Things are already heating up. 81 players remaining in the lobby, and Pixie gets punished.
That's a huge amount of damage, both of them getting dropped down low. Luckily for them, they do have the med miss at the very minimum, so they can get themselves up to tip-top shape. Mixon and Baja are the ones dealing a lot of that damage. They have the early game high ground, and they're willing to stay in Storm a little bit, even though they don't have any HP heals, because they realize how hard it is for Surge. You can find bandages, you can find berries, you can find a leftover med kit, but it's that Storm Surge that you're not going to be able to find for free.
They're very behind on material, so we'll see if they can bounce back. Duke and Edgy, what a performance we saw, arguably stealing away a moment of the weekend. The clutch from them, honestly solidifying their position, their placement here amongst the best. What are they going to be capable of here this weekend?
That clutch was just absolutely insane, and how hyped, how supportive Edgy was as well. Just shows the chemistry between these two and why they are an NA FNCS champion, why they are playing in a lobby just like this. A lot of the players here know how to win in their region. It's the international stage that takes just a little bit more effort. Kaizen and Clement quickly trying to rotate. They're one of the teams. They just don't want to get stuck too far out in the zone. And I think if any of these 2 days have shown you anything, is you don't want to get stuck behind the rest of the lobby when they're trying to hold you out. It forces you to waste your heals. It forces you to waste all of your resources just to make it into the zone very, very early on.
Super proud of Worthy and Alex, again, representing for OCE, the only team and duo from the OCE region to make it to the finals stage here, and they already have an elimination. Something to be extremely proud of. They're on the move here. Gonna get dead center zone 3 right now. They've scored 30+ points in every match coming out of day 1. And day 1, by the way, was the most difficult of the 2 brackets.
Yeah, and kind of shows how impressive it is because Kanata and Agers did the same thing. They got second. And I believe Alex and Worthy were somewhere like 6, at least into the top 7. Reason and Yanis here, over towards Breakwater Bay, and they've been traveling a lot. What they're trying to do here is they're trying to go to the slow side of the zone where the least amount of players will be sitting, trying to hold them out. The only worry that I'm going to have for them is where they're going to get their surge from. Have they got enough with those 2 eliminations already? Because as we know, those off-spawn battles, they don't give very much Storm Surge compared to what you're going to get through the mid and that late game.
Yanis picking up the steady hands augment there as well, just waiting to really decide what direction he's going to take his augments in. You have to also now look to study those decisions moving forwards. But here we have AJS Moby, AJS Larpex, of course, joining up together here. The Rumble Ruins is their home at the moment. They're just looking around for surge tags, nothing yet. NA options in the distance. EU options here on the mountain with Vask. What's it going to be?
Island spawning.
Here comes the Rift Island.
Ooh, this is going to get good. In day 1, we didn't see too many teams try to contest it. In day 2, it was like a house party on top of Rift Island. Everybody wanted to join, and it does look like Hen and Vasque might be the first ones to try to contend it. They did get it in game 1 of the lower bracket, and that was a huge part of their success very, very early on. They were able to keep up the pace and eventually qualify for our grand finals here today, and they're looking to try to mimic that. And you see, there's not very many other players that are going up towards Rift Island, so that might be a free 15 points and very, very valuable slurp juices.
Exactly. For those of you in attendance here, for those of you looking back at this island is worth 15 points if you can secure the objective. It is going to draw in the lot of the players. If you can get 15 points, that is the equivalent of 3 or 4 eliminations worth of points there. So it really can set you very far ahead. This becomes a very interesting time to play the game now for Miro and Cooper, because they have decided they want to fight for it, and they are a very dangerous team when it comes down to them making a decision and sticking to it. They'll commit.
Yep, does look like, though, Vasque and Hen were able to capture it. They were there first. If there's 2 people going ahead and capturing it, it goes much faster than if it's just a solo. So Cooper and Miro, they're ready for that extra prize, the alternative, the height, the elevation. That way they can get Surge. But Peppo, Clip, and Zaku in another fight against Rue and Mshari over on the other side, just battling for those pieces. Mshari just sitting high up on that mountain. He's not really worried about his teammate. He trusts him to play safe, and that's a massive amount of trust in a lobby just like this.
I can't believe it. I can't believe he didn't go down there to try to support. He says, hey, man, you have this. Defense comes out of Rue, plays very well, and now they're above this Surge as Mshari is finding tags here in the process, too. Meanwhile, Zagu Peppo, 475 damage above the Surge. They are in an excellent position right now. They shouldn't have to move any much further.
Yep, in the feed, though, I did see Kanata go down. I saw Mishi go down.
Ooh, here.
Yeah. And that's the battle that they were having. You see Agers a solo against Teeny over on the other side. Steno and Lushi might possibly be looking to take advantage of this opportunity, but that's Acorn and Cole down their sights. They know 23 above the damage threshold. It's enough to not have to worry about Storm Surge actually doing damage, but it's not enough for comfortability. So they're on the hunt for even more, but they're just on the receiving end of so many other players trying to put their hand in the cookie jar.
One of those duos is Acorn and Cold. Agers here, of course, trying to extract revenge now as Kanata was taken out.
He still finds himself very comfortably in the safe zone here, so he'll be all right. Even has some extra heals, of course, remaining. It's going to be pretty tough to play this one out. Yes, they have 2 elims. We have to see how Teeny turn that fight around. You have to wonder what went wrong. Kanata caught out, looking for tags and low on HP. Teeny and Misha waste no time finding that one.
Immediately, and they are well above the damage threshold as well, giving themselves a good and early start. But Queasy and Veno, they know how to play almost every facet of the game, early, mid, and late. They made some quick rotations over towards Kenjutsu Crossing, and they're probably one of the most deep teams that land on that side of the map. They're over towards Shattered Slabs now, 193 above the damage threshold, and you can see that they're not necessarily going over towards Rift Island because they know in these next couple of zones, it's going to pull away from Rift Island. So they don't want to get too close, then have to rotate far if it does pull max.
You know what? We haven't seen a zone like this. Hard west, full west, right? Really giving teams on this side an opportunity to have the advantage and start off strong. Momentum is everything. And sometimes all it takes is securing that first game. Teeny goes for the save in the zone here, so Misha will potentially be picked up. Possibly will be able to situate and get back into this, but I'm not crossing my fingers here. It's a very difficult thing to bounce back when you start off with nothing.
Yeah, and they're just outside of that Rift Island position where the majority of the lobby already is. So they're just going to have to figure out what they're going to do to rotate, because going straight in is going to cause for some dangerous situations for them to try to survive. So they need to be looking for some heals, so that way they can go the long way around, find some safety, and just simply get into the zone. But Pink and Vico here, you can see the split. We talked about a contested drop, but they actually choose to go their separate ways. They're 225 above the damage threshold, and they're looking safe for now. They're trying to figure out what their rotation is going to be. It is a pretty far rotation, but not too far from some of the other players here in this lobby. The first knock is going to get cleaned up. Steno is there by himself. But you can see they're not getting greedy. They're not just trying to bulldoze for it and try to grab that loot. They're just saying, hey, let's just grab the surge. That is going to be enough, but they get aggressed on momentarily. That was bold to try to make magic happen, but he goes out like a light.
That's crazy. He tried to time that, and it just backfired completely as another team also started to look inwards, and they pick up a set of eliminations there. What a huge point swing for Pink and Vico there. Meanwhile, in the feed, Peterbot down, Bugha down, Trulex. So many exchanges here to catch up on, and the landscape is changing right before our eyes.
Even Pink in the feed getting Steno as well. Him and Lushi look like they probably went down. That was 3 straight eliminations on that side of the map.
Yeah.
Threats being a solo, though. I'm not really worried about Threats being a solo because he clutched up big for their qualification spot. He got a 2nd place. They had 9 eliminations as a duo. But now he has to do it with a Surge just hovering over his shoulders.
A lot of players on the move right now. If you look at that right map, all of those arrows flying are teams trying to navigate their way to the new zone. You do have to be very cautious. Take a look, though. Rise tries to go in with a hero's play here, finds Cold, but Acorn is there to back him up. But Rise slips out of there without getting taken down, so he finds Cold and gets right on out.
I feel like that was perfect timing with Acorn
Wow.
trying to plan an escape. And they just bulldoze their way right in. You can see why. Barely being 118 above the damage threshold. At that stage of the game, they were probably below. So they needed to go ahead and pad that stat. Now they have Cammy and Seti in their lines of sights. They don't have to move far. They got the half-and-half zone. So for them, it's just a sit-and-wait scenario that allows them to be consistent. But there's so many superstars around him. I already mentioned Cammy and Seti. Queasy and Veno are to their right. So this is a dangerous area of the map to be in. But I think it's a little bit more safer than all those players just to the north outside of zone.
Yeah, looking pretty dicey right now for sure. But if you're a Yam Zone Rise, you're pretty happy that there's not that much going on around you. They can kind of determine who they're going to battle next. Alex and Worthy also comfortably positioned at the safe zone here. Let's jump on over to Seti and Cammy. 2 eliminations so far from the start. Nothing else since then, but we haven't saw problems this time around with the Surge, so they are in a very, very sweet spot here right now. Also, just nestled so nicely here. And look, they can look down on players trying to come out the low ground.
Yeah, so many big names are already out of this lobby, and we haven't even been given placement points just yet, so there's still so much work to do. You can't get behind that curve as Cammy and Seti feeling like they're comfortable in their position for now, waiting for all those players to try to rotate in. But MK, Papa, and Shalom looking like they might get a sneak attack onto Podesai and Snazy. They just need to be patient here. They go for the 3-2-1 onto the cover. No shots actually go through to Podesai. That gives them information of where they're located at. So they're gonna about face and go a little bit of a different direction now.
Looks like Rapid lost his teammate, Batman Booga, as he's not nearby to the hands of Mshari not too long ago. Here's Papa. Here's Shalom, though. Still looking around, playing the bush. Very nicely done. Everyone else is nestled pretty far off, so we get to jump in with Vino and Queasy, see how they are doing. A little update, a single elimination, so not really turning online too far yet as far as the overall heal situation. I'd say they're middling in the pack. Material count-wise, is it enough for them to play for high ground? I think yes, and they're probably thinking we should go for it.
Yeah, they're probably just gathering all the information around the map for now. Figure out what's the best position, who's already on height, how do we chop them down and make it our own. We've seen that happen to start our tournament on Friday. They grabbed high ground, they looked down and never looked back as they took the game. They actually qualified off that game, 93 points when 91 was the threshold. They kept playing out because it's all about bragging rights, proving that they are the best, just like Iamzo and Rise. And they quickly move to the front side of the zone, so that way when it does begin to move, they secure their spot and they look back and try to hold anybody out and get eliminations.
Well, they're here early, and now they can start to determine what they're going to do. Everyone's on the move here once again. Rocket Rams coming into full effect. Meanwhile, on high ground, Cammy, Seti trying to be the first to set up. The base is wide, the base is strong, and they get the first dibs already. There are other teams cranking up, though. They don't want to just give them all this elevation for free. And the fact that they're committing with Meadow does mean they will have a problem. Meanwhile, Acorn does fall, so Acorn and Cold now taken out of this game. Chicho left by himself to play this one out as a solo as well. Those were his last remaining builds.
Trying to do it by himself. He's trying to play patiently, waiting for anybody to run past him, not knowing that he's there. Try to hit a little bit of a peekaboo. And that's going to be a massive refresh because not only is it hoping it gets the Siphon mats, it gets the Siphon itself to get his heals up. And that's going to be big. Duke by himself, though, on the other side, which honestly, I don't have too much of a worry. We saw a 1v2 clutch from Duke yesterday. We know anything is possible here this weekend. And now placement points are finally beginning to set in. It is very few for now, but there's still more to come if you can survive.
That was an excellent time to update the standings, updating in real time right now. So from here on out, as teams fall, placement points will be rewarded. It is really about surviving this gauntlet of action to come right now. The Surge is equally active. Worthy's gonna find the solo Mshari. Big pickup for him. And Flixie and Gripey leading here with 5 eliminations now. Front side of the zone, team gets right in front of him. He tries to see for the box up, but no, it's more important to stay safe right now. Look at the rotates here. You love to see it. Excellently done. Flixie and Gripey are really playing well right now.
Yeah, sacrificing some HP. That way they can go to the front side. The high ground battle's going to begin. Cammy and Seti, Vino and Queasy with the bounce pad. The fadeaway shot unsuccessful from Queasy and Vino. So the kings of the FNCS Invitational are still on the high ground for now. As Cammy's looking to come crashing down. He's built a little bit of a tower so he doesn't go too far. So all the battles being forced lower and lower down in the mud. Duke trying to fight with his back up against the wall by himself. Multiple duos beginning to surround and hound him. Top 17 though, all these points as a solo are massive for their run here in this competition.
And this is a battle for ego, undoubtedly. Duke looking to see what he can set up, turns around, breaks everyone off fight.
Down goes Cammy.
And down comes Cammy, and then he's looking to target him. Duke is the destruction here in the lobby by himself with the knock. What a beautifully timed landing spot there, but Cooper hot on his heels here next door. They know he's here. Miro comes in, they're trying to hunt him out, but he's off to the races, finds Pixie, big tag. You know Duke wants to finish this one. Can he get it? In he goes. It's only gonna take a single tag. He's under the ramp, goes for it, he gets it there. Nicely done.
Takes out Cammy, takes out the next one as well. The list of eliminations keeps on climbing before he finally falls. Into the top 10 we go, with Flixie also a solo in this game. There's 4 total solos still left alive, no builds. He's trying to make a play, but from the outside of the zone, he goes down.
It's Mappy, it's iDrop on high ground. Take a look, Reet is still alive. Seti is still alive. Playing the backside of zone, excellently done here, but the high ground comes down a little early. He has a true chance. Seti brings him down, and now he is the one on top. Can he clutch this out? By himself against all odds. We thought it was over, but Reet has other words for everyone in the lobby.
He goes down into that top 4 we go. The only solo left alive, well, you saw him moments ago. It is going to be Seti. Cooper and Miro almost won a game yesterday. It was stolen away by both Bryce and Chubbs. Now they're going for some toe tags on Apoyo and Sphinx. NA counterparts going at it. iDrop on the other side, but he gets taken down by the NA duo. Huge shot by Miro, trying to go back-to-back, but they fall down the mountain. That's going to allow for Apoyo to survive momentarily, but Cooper hot on the chase. He sacrifices himself to go for the elimination. Seti out of nowhere. Final 2 teams. Miro's trying to stay alive, but there's one duo still left alive, but it's actually a knock. Miro versus Sphinx. NA versus NA to take game number 1.
Incredible that NA will secure this here, but talk about the turn of events here. Miro taking down Seti, putting his name in the conversation. People forget what Miro is capable of, but now it's a 1v1. Old blood versus the new, basically. Miro showing, hey, I'm the big dog of the region. Sphinx says, I want to prove that I can do it. We already know he's got the mouth in him, but can he put the bullets where they need to go?
He needs to put some respect on his name. Miro running out of builds. That's his last chance.
And he's dead.
All the way down. Miro goes out. That is Poyo and Sphinx. That is their second victory royale on the weekend.
What an excellent job there. We already saw them take a win in the upper bracket to even bring them this far into the stage, and now they are proving that they can do it on the biggest stage against the best.
That's going to be it from us, though, because I want to hear what they have to say about being the only team with 2 wins on the weekend.
Boys, you proved you can get a victory royale on LAN in the upper bracket, and now you've proved you can get a victory royale in the grand final. Talk to me about those last moments in game. Did you manage to talk less?
I would say so, a little bit less. I think my comms were more clear.
I mean, you were having to come for yourself in that 1v1. How did you manage knowing someone was above you on the high ground?
You know, I just have the best awareness at this LAN right now, so like, obviously I know there's a man above me, you know? I'm just like that.
But what are you thinking though? Because he can jump on you at any time.
I'm thinking I think like 25 builds about, and I'm, you know, I'm best fighter, best piecer, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna just go up 200 pump. That's what I did.
And you waited, and then he fell down and he did the job for you. Poyo, what was it like starting out today with this man?
I was dead. I didn't really do much that game, so he actually went crazy there.
And you let him just talk his way through it. You didn't give him any advice or guidance.
Nah, I just told him his mats and he did the rest.
Now, going forward, you've got to try and maintain this consistency. You've managed to get your way through an aggressive lobby, but can you see yourself managing to top the competition again?
Yeah, we just need to live off spawn. I think we can do good at literally every game.
All right, well, good luck in those off-spawn battles, boys. Congratulations. Everyone give it up for Sphinx and Poyo!
Poyo and Sphinx looking to set the tone on the day. If there's anything I learned from game number 1, these next couple of games are going to be chaos.
I mean, that game was pretty much everything that we wanted, right? We saw the matchups happen towards that end game that we really wanted to see. But it was the clutches, right? We always talk about being on the global stage. It requires you to go ahead and clutch up when it requires. And honestly, Sphinx right here, this shot on the Cooper, this was the one that sealed the deal.
Yeah, that changed the tempo of the end game completely. From that moment onwards, it's like he said, he's just like that, you know? He's gonna go through and win the whole thing. And I mean, it wasn't an easy finish, right? They were going back and forth a bit. It was only the materials that was able to let Miro down, and Sphinx was just had a bit more left in the tank. Even though, actually, you can see he had none. He just was playing around with the stairs, and it wins him the game as well. Of course, again, a team that has already shown they can win on this stage, and they do it once again.
Just being able to stay calm, cool, and collect in that situation. Many duos would look at their material count, what they have in the tank, and just go, this is it. Let's start Hail Marrying. I don't know anymore. But Sphinx just said, no. I've been in Grands before. I've been in these types of situations. Take a step back. We know they're up top. Let's break those builds. Let's bring them down. And unfortunately, Cooper and Miro did fall, but still a second place for them. I mean, starting the day with 84 points, that's pretty good.
That's not bad at all. But look, Poyo and Sphinx up above 89. I know their parents out here to support them as well. When I actually flew into Copenhagen for this event, I was in the airport with Poyo's dad, and he was like, good luck to everyone, but my son's gonna win. I want my son to win, a supportive parent, as you always love to see. And right now, I'm sure he will be beaming from ear to ear to see his son sitting in first place.
Absolutely incredible game number 1. But listen, we got to talk about some of those higher profile duos. Of course, Cammy and Seti coming in 3rd place. The All-Spawn wasn't what we expected.
I mean, it wasn't, right? But they did so well, right? We tuned into them, we see them with 2 limbs, and I think everybody sort of knew what that meant. We weren't expecting Daedus and Stain to contest them. They had said they were going to land somewhere else a bit, right? But clearly a misdirect to try and fake them out. But Cammy and Seti were prepared. And in that endgame, Seti survived as a solo for so long.
Which is very uncharacteristic for this duo. Actually, usually most of their points, a high percentage of them actually come from when they are a duo alive, right? Usually their points fall off whenever there's a solo clutch opportunity, but Seti's showing up.
Yeah, you don't associate either of them, as great of players they are, you don't associate either of them with mega solo clutches, right? You look at some of the other elite EU names, a lot of them, you think of them and you think solo clutches. Thomas Malabuka, right? You know, Venno, even Queasy, you know, these guys you expect to solo clutch. Cammy and Seti showing us right now, yeah, if one of them's a solo in these games, they will step up.
And I think for them, like obviously Seti's a little disappointed there. He wanted to take it farther. But ending as a solo in this situation, on this stage, and ending 3rd place, my bad, Seti. I mean, I know you're king of consistency and stuff, so if you just do that a couple more times, I mean, we are in for the running. Queasy and Venno as well performing. I thought it was interesting. Like, I love seeing how all of these players in the lobby kind of act. We saw there in the mid game, Seti, Cammy on the high ground, Queasy, Venno on the front side of zone. So all these duos are just looking for those windows, right?
Yeah, for sure. And in this end game, with all these duos here, I do want to give a big shout out to Dukes, man, because that one was going ballistic, right? He wanted to put an end to everybody's game that he could as a solo as well, right? So a bunch of really sick solo clashes. Oh, that's painful. I didn't realize that's how Queasy went down there. The 4 damage. A 4 damage getting everybody so far in game 1.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, that was pretty much the head-to-head battle that we wanted to see on the higher ground. Honestly, though, Cammy and Seti picked up more points for that. But Zeke, I was really impressed with Cooper and Mira. I feel like some of those IGL late-game calls were really good.
Yeah, super crispy stuff. And I mean, when you think about their performance just this weekend alone, I mean, this is starting to look real good, right? I still think there is quite a bit of first game jitters, right? Even coming from upper and lower bracket. The stakes were maybe a little bit different. Right now, you're saying, okay, we have 6 games to show up. The stadium is packed. Every single elimination that happens on that feed, the crowd is going crazy. That seems to be playing a bit of a factor right now. And so I feel like the players that can kind of hold on will kind of make it farther.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's all about, you know, soaking it all in. You really got to use the crowd to your advantage, right? Kind of play off of that, but then in those key moments, you really got to be good at blocking them out as well.
I mean, one person that got to hear the crowd more than anybody else throughout that game would have been Thomas HD and Malabuka, right? You know, they went down Osborne. That was the first fight we saw, right? Up against Canada and Aegis, they went down not the way you want to start the competition, right? You want to get into the swing of things, especially with all the cheers Thomas and them were getting coming into things. Again, when you go back into that Osborne fight the next time round, how do you now come into it mentally? You don't want to have to sit there and watch the whole game all over again.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight very quickly just a couple of these strategies where we've been talking about these secret pocket strats. Portisai, Snazy coming out with the, let's go ahead and take the kinetic rock all the way across the map. Let's take this body. Let's get Surge. Absolutely crazy. I do want to talk more about this, but I'm getting word. We are ready to get back into the action. We have game number 2 upon us. So casters, on over to you.
Games, games, games. That's all we want this weekend is more games. And that first one, Monster, that was so exciting to really start off the day.
It was perfect. EU versus NA, and the big names really showing up. We saw the rivalry for high ground, so already the early story starting to begin. But most importantly, 14 elims off the early game. Let's see it here for game number 2.
We're in it. We're here to win it all. A huge early game that was won by both Poyo and Sphinx, and they carried it all the way to the end. I said they were the first team to get 2 this weekend. Will they be the first team to go back-to-back and get their 3rd victory royale on the weekend? Only time will tell for that one. But the rematch, probably everybody here in the arena wants to see. Thomas, Malabuka, Kanata, Agers, let's get it.
Let's watch it. Sphinx is going to be able to watch in the distance there, too. So who's going to be the first to touch down? Who's going to be the first to land? Shots coming in this time. It's Malabuka who gets tagged. So does Agers. So both sides already. And Malabuka gets a weapon. He finds Agers with a huge tag. Kanata's already down. And they're finished. They're done.
That was a huge start for Malabuka. Gets that Havoc suppressed and immediately goes to work. And it was him. It was actually him who was getting tagged out of the sky. I thought that was going to be a huge advantage for Kanata and Agers. They weren't able to clean that one up. We saw the contested fight in the replay. The first game, Cammy and Seti get pushed off the actual barn. So it is going to start as a little bit of a split drop here over towards Frenzy Fields.
It really shows us that they were caught off guard game one for the 50-50. Here's TK, here's Quanti over at the Slappy Shores. They are also contested down in this area by Tayson. And you can see that they just barely got away with it. Actually, it was Chicho and Trulex as well. Remember, there's like about 3 teams here, actually. Slappy Shores is just not big enough.
Everybody's trying to go to the beach someday. But for now, the actual south side of Slappy is going to go to TK and Quanti. They have access to that vault. It isn't the most massive vault with Mythics, but you still are able to get a ton of loot. And Misha and Teeny doing it again. They switch up their drop spot once more. They go on over to where Baka and Pars is at, and they're going to go ahead and sneak. They haven't really looted up at all. Will Baka and Pars take the bait?
This is a very interesting position to be in, of course, because you have the chest here as a potential option. So you have to think about it. Anything can happen here.
I feel like everybody at this stage in the game has been conditioned to know this is a viable strategy. Because like I said, in the lower bracket, or in the upper bracket, they were contesting Baka and Pars. Didn't work out for them. They switched up their strategy. They started doing exactly this, playing roulette with their drop spots to try to sneak up on some teams. And that inevitably was what got them across the finish line. And it's only a matter of time before Baka and Pars go in this direction. It's no matter what the result will be.
And this is what we talk about, teams hiding strategies, teams really sitting back and thinking about, okay, what haven't we tried yet in the upper bracket and lower bracket that we're sitting on, that we're waiting on, that we can then put into play to give us the advantage on Championship Sunday.
They have some sorts of feeling. See them hopping over the covers. They know they're around here somewhere. They probably already seen them drop just a little bit, but the bait has been taken. Down goes one of them. Misha and Teeny strike yet again. Now Pars is stuck by himself, and immediately you see him creating distance between him and his counterparts. He doesn't want to be the next one on their hit list.
And we don't want to be the ones to give away the edge. So to keep it low, to keep quiet there was a tough one, but take a look at that. Misha and Teeny, 2 games in a row. Surprise, surprise. They have made so much adjustment from the upper bracket to today. It really has shown so far in the last 2 games, but now Teeny has to still close this out with Misha.
Yeah, they went from 2 builds to 53 thanks to Baka and that elimination. Pars is trying to fight with his back up against the wall. Shots also coming in from the third party. Everything comes crashing down. But Pars is still able to put up a good defense for now. But Teeny's hot on his heels. First shot could be landed. Pars goes down to the low ground, and the 2v1 has been secured. Misha and Teeny strike first.
What a play. What an ambush set up there. Definitely highlight worthy. Meanwhile, we jump in with Vico, Pink. Their drop spot split by Acorn and Cold. You can see that they have lost a fair amount of the advantage of the general area, but it hasn't affected them that much. They have still maintained a very, again, more or less successful setup. In the feed, I saw that Cold might have picked up Scented there, so already down south, some action going on right now. Acorn and Cold here looking very much solid as they're going against Polarized. Polarized by himself, getting pieced up, boxed up, now forced onto the back foot here. This is a favorite here. Cold does get punished, but he's got his teammate here to back him up.
Yeah, trade-in shots, bait and switch. Acorn's trying to alleviate some of that pressure, but Polarized keeps trying to break his way into the box, but he gets denied entry more than once. Now Acorn's simply going to try to hold the covers, peek through, try to figure out where Polarized is at. Give Cold time to heal up. Zip line, that one's going to be noticeable. Now Acorn has to make the decision. Do I just go straight up into him? Do I continue to play my game out? And I saw third-party shots coming in. He hits it. He goes right back up. Zipline once more. Polarize goes down, but it's not the team you thought. Cooper steals that one away.
Man, that's the worst feeling right there. You put in all that work, all that damage, and 4 points slip away. Meanwhile, Poda, Sai, and Snazy, the M8 boys, are back at it again. Oh no, but they couldn't save Striker this time, so lost damage, but the strategy was still there. The idea, still potent.
They've been performing so well this weekend. 90% has to be them, 10% has to be the crowd on their side, fueling them. Anytime they feel like their gas tank is empty, you see a loud cheer from the crowd, and that's a little bit of a refresh in its own mind. But with 1 elimination, they get their surge plan started over towards Shattered Slabs. There's at least one team towards the north side. But we got a surprise, we got a treat. We got a little bit of a listen-in of an off-spawn battle.
Wait, where are they?
Take guns on left, take guns on left.
Yeah, I got these guns.
6 white, 9 white, that one. 6 white.
Good job, mate. Good job.
Big set of eliminations right there. You can hear the comms clear and concise. But for a second there, they didn't know where they actually were.
Yeah.
That's how tough a 50-50 can actually be. Slight, bus route deviation, all of a sudden, you're coming in from different angles.
Yeah, that's one thing is you can have the best drop, but when everyone's going for the same weapon. Malibuca's the one who won out, which forced Kanata and Aegis elsewhere, but our game 1 victors, Poyo and Spinx, who probably got a front row seat for that battle. You saw them flying through the sky when that contestation was happening. They looted up, and I got to say their loot is looking pretty impressive. 8 slap splashes, 3 big pots, and that's just on Poyo alone. They got a free rotation to where they want to go. You can see some shots coming in, a little bit of a warning shot at that. Cammy and Seti contested over towards Frenzy. They won it in game 1. They choose to split it in this next game. And they're going all the way over towards the western side as somebody gets beamed from afar. That's just helping their surge plan all together. But they're just trying to rotate to where they think it's going to go, to where the least amount of teams will try to huddle up.
Meanwhile, Noxie in a fight right now. Chris severely damaged in this battle here, but does manage to find stable ground here. This is going to be a tough one to close out if they allow Asa to bounce back. It does seem like he's got a chance to do so.
Even though he is by himself, we've seen so many teams and players make magic happen. Noxie and Chris, they see him kind of run away. They got to question themselves, is it worth going ahead and pushing forward? You continue the game plan, which you set out up into this point. The zone for now has pulled over towards the western side with a little bit of a north lean. And that's why you see a lot of these teams hovering over towards Shattered Slabs or in this vicinity altogether. And you can see, this is actually pretty unique. You see Kit's Boombo in his inventory. That's something I don't see very many people pick up, but if you have the accuracy, you can do a ton of damage on players nearby.
Definitely one of those things. The option has always been there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't see it come into play. A lot of variety already starting to turn online. We'll see what he's capable of with that. Yamzo Rise, pretty strong game 1. Had some late game appearances there. Another western pull here. This time we're going a little bit more north, up towards the Eclipse State. We'll see how this influences the majority of the lobby, but North teams are pretty happy right now.
And this is why you saw early in the game, Cammy and Seti rotating in that direction. They had a feeling it was going to go on that side as Yamzo and Rise just sitting on top of their normal spots with the castle and the gas station, trying to pad up on Surge. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities from teams trying to rotate from the eastern portion of the map as the zone continues to pull on over towards the west. Cooper, they got that early game Surge, but it isn't going to be much because they did take away that elimination from Acorn and Cold, who did the brunt of that damage. So for now, it's just about farming up. Miro's the one that's in charge of trying to get those tags on top of that building.
So impressive. So we jump in with Vanyak and Karmi here. Lucy and Seno listening nearby, holding those edits, trying to see if there's a chance to pounce in crash pads. But all in all, this is a pretty tough spot to be in. It's gonna be difficult to turn this, situation around. It seems like there's been a drawn out battle and Lucy and Seno have been on the losing side.
see that already 7 teams down and out. It's not as active as it was in that last game up until this point, but it's definitely very, very close. You see the augments all out, Fast Fisher, Glider redeploy, Keymaster, if they're able to come around to it, and then that first shotgun. It's gonna be huge for a lot of these teams that are able to use that Fast Fisher, because we're going over to some of the water spots on our way over, which instantly fishes. Whether you get a flopper to kind of stagger yourself in the zone, or a slurp fish, or any of the shield fishes to go ahead. You see Bugha has one as well. That's instant shields. It's 10 less than a big pot, but it's faster than a big pot altogether.
Definitely important to have those quick heals. Threats on the move right now. They're not happy with being on the outskirts of the zone here. They want to get a little bit more center before other teams start moving in and decide to do so. In the meanwhile, though, they also have to bounce back with some material here. There's a metal reservoir down low, but it's Boyo and Sphinx potentially holding that one out. Meanwhile, Mr. Savage looking to find his footing here. Last game was a tough one. He gets the siphon for Vidil and keeps him in the game. That's Trulex. And now Chicho is hurt. In he goes. Still on the hunt. Nicely done. And Savage and Vidil clap back for the first time today. They have some wind in their sails.
And this is big, because we already seen at least one of the teams in our top 5 go down. That's iDrop and Mappy. And as long as a couple more of those teams at the top of the leaderboard go down, that opens the game up wide open for any of these teams to overtake that spot, since it is very, very early on. Mr. Savage and Vidil showing what they can do out of Naughty Nets, which a lot of people don't necessarily like that spot, but that just goes to show how good they actually are. Not only are they on the low ground, they have to cross a river. There's a couple teams they have to get through, so they're doing everything right up until this point.
Already we've seen our first team inside the top 10 fall, which was Janus and Reason there. Getting caught on this rotate here, seeming like the west pole wasn't good enough for him. We saw Bugha's HP there as we were flying by, very hurt as they were coming just past Boyo and Sphinx, but Rift Island spawns in beneath Stain and Datus, a team that absolutely needs to make a comeback. What a better way than to find points other than to take the Rift Island for yourself. Will they go for it?
I already see that they captured a weapon cache with the slurp juice in his inventory, throwing a bush directly on top to cloud their space. That way they can fire freely. Not very many players able to kind of tag them back. And you can see the teamwork. Stain's there to try to break the build. They're timing it right, so that way a sniper shot can try to sneak his way through. This is going to be big, as Batman, Bugha, and Rapid are actually going to be the first team on top of Rift Island. And we saw last game, the team that was on top, they were able to capture it because they were the first ones there with nobody really contesting the actual flag. Let's see if that'll change around this time, now that's more than halfway full.
Rapid and Batman Bugha are well on their way to securing it here. I think it will be theirs. Pink and Vigo probably have considered it, but when you're just late to the punch, why jump in? Why take that risk? And it does seem like already now 2 for 2 on teams that snatch it up first. But again, the Rift Island is going to be 15-point swing in any direction if you can grab it.
Like you said once before, that's almost 4 eliminations without actually having to put yourself in a risky situation. And what these other teams are doing, even though they're not trying to contest it, one, probably going for scraps as soon as Batman, Bugha, and Rapid leave that location. But most importantly, with that added elevation, they're looking for Storm Surge. They can see the entirety of the lobby, and those teams that have to rotate from the south, from the east, that is who they're looking at most of all to try to get the Storm Surge that they need. You can see they have 224. And they're even looking at some of the other teams that are on top of Rift Island as well.
This should very much put Rapid and Batman Bugha in the conversation, though.
Yeah.
Rapid, although by himself, he did make some placement last game. Here we jump in with Edgy and Duke so far. 600 above this surge. They're going to be well and fine here. They're positioned very nicely already at the Eclipse Estate, which is near dead center. Do they have the storm eye? Do they know where the storm's going? Because this is some prime positioning right here.
Yeah, we got these forecast towers all around the map. It allows you to read where the zone is going, but Duke had 46 solo impact points in match 1. He was just gobbling up those placement points, and you saw him in those type spots getting eliminations as well, especially when he needed it most for both the Siphon and the mats. Malibuca and Thomas well above the damage threshold. Even though they're falling, they have more than enough surge to where they don't have to worry about it. For them, they're just trying to see where these teams are positioned at to try to make their own rotation in. The zone continues to pull towards the north side of the map, over towards Eclipse Estates. So if it stays there, this one could get dicey because there's some unbreakable walls, there's a surrounding water, there's even the moon there that we saw Cammy and Seti use early on in this tournament.
Clownski grows on the move right now. Already setting up for a nice position here. Looking out for fights, looking out to see if they can find tags. This is going to be a team that, if they don't get active, will surely have something to worry about, but they find Mustache there. Great tags here for Strauss, Grolls, and Clownski, and already now they have a chance to go ahead and alleviate some room near them, get back into this game. But no, Grolls, you saw yourself for a moment. The punishment comes in. It's Pixie off to the right there, who has made it further this game than the last. Meanwhile, Yamzone Rise potentially taking a fight, but no, they are out. Bugha has not been able to secure the health that he lost from getting this far. Oof. Wow.
Down goes Bugha. Shows exactly what you're talking about. Without that heals, he's not able to get the HP up, what makes him an easy target through the sky. Now he's a focus that they know the knock's there. This is 4 points that a team is going after. And if they're daring enough to move over, that's loot as well. And you can see Bugha handing over some of his resources while he's down, just trying to pad Threads' material count, making sure that he's able to save him. But look who's knocking on that front door. Trick or treat. In comes Acorn and Cold, and no tricks up their sleeves. All treats as they get those eliminations.
Yeah, they knew they had the knock. They had to finish it right there. They were in the perfect position, and with the zone going south, hey, we got to go this way anyways. It was well timed and executed on their part, and it puts them at 2 eliminations now, very comfortably in the game, and the full refresh to really set yourself up for success. It doesn't get much better than that. Meanwhile, Snazy, Podesai on the move right now. The M8 boys playing deep outside the storm circle here. There had to be something worthwhile, but it looks like it was just a late rotate. A fight in the zone, gone bad.
Yeah, probably that early game strategy. If they're not able to get that surge off of those players that they do get the knocks, that puts them behind on not only timing, but on materials and resource gathering as well. The time is running out. Podesai needs to be able to get in, but he goes down. Snazy found a little crevice that he can hold on to, and even though he is full of shields, he only has 15 HP. If the lobby begins to target him in this direction, where some of them are going to begin to rotate into, that's going to be a very dangerous situation for him to be in.
What's crazy is Mshari had no shield, so talk about a opportunity revealed to him, and he finds shield just off the elimination. Look, he also did not have any heals. It's just a perfect star aligning moment for Mshari and Rue here. One of, again, the few representing for the ME, so making them proud so far.
Still got the top of the leaderboard still alive. Pollo Sphinx, Miro Cooper. Rue and Mshari trying to join him on top, 106 and counting, above the damage threshold. But on the other side of things, Vasquez by himself, 140 below. Daring enough to go for that Rift Island very, very early on in game 1. That's helped their position on the leaderboard. And being able to survive here a bit longer will be huge. We saw Duke in his solo points in game 1. Vasquez looking to mimic that here in game 2. But he really does need at least 7 players to go down before he gets a single placement point.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to make him uncomfortable here, as he is really dependent on the heals here, and he's got a long rotate to make. No one's moved just yet. It's just tough all around. Meanwhile, he gets punished by Tayson and Mustache here. So if it wasn't already pretty difficult, now he's surely on the back foot here. He's going to have to use everything he's got. Meanwhile, players around him looking in his direction, they can tell that some damage is happening here. They can hear the sounds. They're wondering, where is this player? Can we find elimination?
It's a big opportunity if somebody wants to go ahead and take that risk, and he needs a handful of players still needed to go down before that Storm Surge does go off. And without any more heals, he's gonna have to go for it eventually. Spadillo is out, Savage still alive. He's one of those players that makes the sneaky plays, trying to make sure that nobody spots him out. More than enough materials, but he has to figure out where he's going to get these heals from. 8 HP, 50 shields, 58 combined. His material count is looking pretty healthy though, but slowly but surely falling down the Storm Surge ladder, having to figure out where he's gonna get it from. He turns around and goes down to Reed.
Yeah, he was wondering, he saw something there, but unfortunately it wasn't anything, and he couldn't get the tags he needed. Reed's gonna go in and jump himself up 4 points there just because of that, and now placement points just moments away here. 27 duos remaining in the lobby. This is it. Match 2 of the grand finals is now starting to approach its end. Things are gonna turn up now. Boyo, Sphinx down on the low ground. If they make another big splash inside the top 5, they will surely start to take away up towards the top. Gripey Flix here, not trying to make it easy though. They find Sphinx, a great knock there, and Boyo is now by himself. Tags coming too. He's big time punished and finished there. Spoken too soon, down they go, and now to the bottom, they fall.
That is huge. Cooper and Mira already taking first place throughout that game. And honestly, without Queasy and Vino in the lobby any longer, we set our eyes onto Cammy and Seti. They made that daring play in game 1 to go for height. They defended it successfully until Duke had crash landed, taken them all down, and Cammy with them. They're trying to make up for it here yet again today. They're trying to move their way towards the front side of zone. You see the briefcase turret as well over on the other side. Information is important. It's not about the damage itself. And you can see he knows somebody's on the other side of that cover. Just trying to see if there's an opportunity for him to strike. 39 above the damage threshold. He's comfortable for now, but he knows that time where he's gonna need to fire a shot is gonna come soon.
And it makes you wonder what went wrong this game for Cammy and Seti. Low on the surge damage, low on the heal options, not many material, right? This is a very tough game, and it's not like the zone went very far from where they land. It's just a little north and to the west here, so something must have went terribly wrong in that outskirt rotate. The resistance there a little too strong. Meanwhile, on hike, it's Striker and his duo. Asha from Team Monaco here. Ashada's looking pretty solid right now. I do like the position that they are in as they're trying to play for height here.
Yeah, and who's daring enough to go ahead and contest them? A lot of our heavy hitters are either weak or out of the lobby, so it could be free taking for them. Fortunate enough, there isn't a twin mag. He just had that suppressed Havoc AR. It could deal some fast damage, but it's not as fast as some would think. 148 above the damage threshold, and they have a far rotation to go, just like Thomas and Malabuka. But they are so healthy right now in terms of materials and in terms of resources.
And if you weigh their game versus Kanata's, they are doing far and beyond better. Yeah. They have 4 eliminations. They're actually in the end game, and they have everything they need to succeed. That is what you want after you survive a drop. But let's look at Peterbot. Peterbot forced to play by himself. He's known for what he can do as a solo. He's one of the most capable players on NA, especially when it comes down to fighting. He needs to finish this here. He's already got the knock onto MK Papa, but no, he says, I have to play for myself here. Goes around the outskirts, reading this perfectly, but he is running low on material. There's another elimination. It falls through, so the points will be his. And he's on the hunt. He's like, where is that solo?
Yeah, he's just trying to figure out where he's going to get even more siphon. But it's not so much for the heals as it is the material, because he's running dry. Cammy, Seti, they don't got the high ground yet, but they're going around the outskirts, trying to bypass a lot of the teams, recycle some of those builds. And if you look at them, they're going towards the front side of the zone. With Thomas down, that leaves the pressure of Malabuka, of the entire duo, on his shoulders. But he's another one of those mechanically skilled players that sometimes when you lose your duo, that gives you freedom to go ahead and move around, make moves you wouldn't normally make if your duo was still alive.
Regarded as one of EU's greatest. On high ground, though, it's Axe Force. On low ground, it's Malabuka. It's Peterbot on the mids. Peterbot still up, looking for the fight, jumped into a box. He's playing spoiler. Was that Cammy there he takes out? Potentially in the exchange, in the full finish too. Peterbot has shut down Cammy's dream and hopes of making it far, but Seti is still up. Once again to left to clutch. Malabuka turns things around here, goes for height, even though he's by himself. What is happening right now?
We saw Axe Force by himself on height. Malabuka's taking a page out of that playbook, but he instantly drops down low into the mud, trying to go ahead and survive as a solo, and he gets to the front side of zone yet again. Now this is his chance to look back, but a whole different page. Also a solo, but less heals, less materials to work with. Peterbot is continuously on the hunt and finds a monster monster of a shot onto Acorn. Even though he's not going to get the spoils of all that he's done, at least there's another heavy hitter out.
But Cold wasn't happy with that. He tries to hunt him down. Peterbot is on a slither of HP, barely anything. The Siphon finally comes through, and now he's in a well-fighting position. Meanwhile, Malibuca still doing it. This is the game of solos right now, and there is just a single duo in here, potentially. It is Cooper and of course Miro there on the front, but Malibuca's got work cut out for him.
3 solos left in the game. One of them is going to be Malibuca, continuously dropping down low. He's letting all those players above him fight it out for him to try to survive, but Cooper and Miro are ready to end that run. They get into the box, and they send Malibuca back down to the lobby.
Cheatin' and Pixie have the high ground. It's a 2v2v2 now. Things will start to settle, but our solos have gone incredibly far. Miro, Cooper, try to do it again here, looking to make the redemption run. They got a hurt team in front of them. Off to the side they go. These are points that need to be earned. Cooper is earning his strike, but Miro is here to back him up. He holds it down. The Siphon comes in now. This is it.
This is a 2v1 situation. Pixie and Cheatin, they're trying to go ahead and go against him. That's Chari there as well. An all-solo endgame. Cheatin trying to join Polo and Sphinx as a team with multiple wins this weekend. Back-to-back shots. He's already been able to get one. Miro out for redemption in that last game, but he has no materials. Zone is taking him out until the final shot is in. There it goes. Pixie and Cheatin take the game.
And they do it in spectacular fashion from the high ground. Securing the dub, securing the win. What an excellent performance.
An excellent performance indeed. Let's see how they're feeling. Frankie, take it away.
We're seeing duos come back to prove that their victory royales were not a fluke in the past couple of days, and they're doing it again against the toughest competition. How does it feel to get yet another win?
It's feeling really great, bro. We full stacked again like yesterday, and we just played it out again.
Do you think that these duos are letting you have it too easy?
Yeah, of course.
It's interesting because you guys were not a duo at the start of the year. You were with different partners. You had to find each other. Why do you think the two of you have come together and managed to dominate this LAN so far?
We're both really smart, good fighters. That's all we need.
Do you not need brains as well?
Nah, we have enough brains.
You've got enough brains, but really you're all about the firepower. Listen, I want to give you the opportunity to talk to your fans right now. I know that you've got quite a few in the audience as well. Have you got anything you'd like to say to them?
Thanks for everyone supporting me.
And would you like to say that in Polish?
I don't know.
No? Okay. Would you like to say anything?
Thanks for my family who is watching right now and everyone who supports us.
Well, thank you, guys. Congratulations. Let's see if you can keep it up as we head back to the desk.
Big congratulations there. Cheatin' and Pixie finding themselves yet another victory royale. This is now the second time today we've had a duo that already had a victory royale picks up another. But man, this all coming down to solos. That could have gone any which way for a moment there. For a moment, I was like, if this is Mrs. Miro, Gene's like, oh, my bad. Whoa, Zeke, don't get ahead of yourself there.
The games have been absolutely insane. I mean, obviously coming down to the 1-1, but throughout the end game, it felt like there were so many solos alive, clutching up the points.
Yeah, these endgames are manic so far. It's like it goes every which way, and then eventually one name or two names just start popping out of the place, and you start going, wait, can they win the game again? In this one, my eyes were sealed to Miro and Cooper. I really thought, okay, last game they couldn't quite do it. They're gonna get their redemption now. 1v1 for Miro again. He couldn't quite do it, but you know, I'm sure there'll be more chances for him to redeem himself. Pixie and Cheatin, a team that, if you aren't familiar, right, these are very hardworking players. Like Frankie said, they didn't start the year playing with each other, but once they did get together, things have just been clicking for them.
You love to see it. And of course, if you're just tuning in, you've never seen Fortnite, or maybe you just don't know, Victory Royale, of course, even coming down to second place, if you don't get the Victory Royale, it's not that bad, right? A Victory Royale is worth 65 points. Coming second, third, still a massive amount of points as well. But again, congratulations, Pixie and Cheatin. There's so much that happened in just that game. It's like every time we tune in with another duo, they're either in shambles situations or they're pushing a team, they're busting out these crazy strategies, and it has not disappointed so far. Now, Viv, as we bring up these standings, take a look. Cooper and Miro, they're overtaking. They started with a little bit of a lead, And now they have just said, you know what? We're jumping out in front.
I mean, back-to-back second places at the Global Championships, both of them by Miro, solo clutching to that point in time. And Levin, whilst we were watching that game, right, we were getting close to the end of it. You asked me a question. What was that question?
I said, are Cooper and Miro about to win globals? It's looking like it. They're sitting up on the leaderboard looking comfy, 2 back-to-back second places. I mean, if they keep playing like this, we're going to get to game 4 and it might be a done deal.
The consistency. That's you're going to hear us say that a lot today over the next 4 games. But man, if Miro and Cooper could keep this up, they very well could walk away champions. I did want to take a look more at the standings, though. Let's highlight a few more duos up on this board.
I'm looking at Vico and Pink there in 3rd place.
Yeah.
I mean, with how their weekend's gone so far, I think a lot of people in here were obviously supporting Acorn and Cold after how well Acorn and Cold did in the upper bracket finals. I don't think many people would have expected Vico and Pink to be above them, let alone sitting in the top 3.
I mean, they have found some comfort on the stage. Cammy and Seti maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable with a big switch up coming into today. Both games so far, they have been contested, but game number 2 was a little bit different here. They actually decided to go ahead and split their drop spot, but it didn't really end up mattering as they still made it into the end game. And honestly, it was the refresh during 9th zone that kept them alive for so long.
And the thing I was saying during that end game was it felt like vintage Cammy and Seti. None of this high ground nonsense we were seeing from them too much. I say high ground nonsense. They've been very good at it, don't get me wrong. But, you know, it felt good to see them in an element where they were a bit more comfortable. And, of course, again, another instance of Seti getting the job done.
Oh, of course, you know, they had to come into the higher ground meta, right? They had to kind of learn it, so they still have all of those other play styles in their back pocket. Just makes them so good.
And what terrifies me the most, even after this kind of shambles game, they're in top 5. That's not where you want them to be. They're way too close to striking distance. But that's enough for right now. We have Kelly standing by on the stage right now with Flowis.
That is right, Zeke. Fortnite veteran and Danish native Flowis joining me here right now. I gotta ask, you've been competing in Fortnite for so long. What is it like to be here at the Global Championships in Denmark?
I mean, normally I sit here with the players, but the fans have been absolutely incredible, especially the French ones, and I also hear some Polish ones over here, so big shout out to the fans.
I mean, it's been an incredible weekend so far, from the fans to the players. What has been your favorite moment out of the competition?
I mean, it was first day here, so I mean, the fans is probably the most important thing here, and I also like the game 1 ending with Miro almost clutching up as a solo, but yeah.
Well, then he almost did it again in game number 2. So with that being said, I gotta ask you, who is your favorite to win?
I think right now, I think Miro is gonna win, but I obviously hope for my Danish boys, Thomas HD and Steno and Lucio.
Flowis, this just means so much to me to be able to talk with you. I've been watching you play for so long. And what is it like to watch just all 50 duos here competing on this stage?
I mean, it's absolutely insane. Like everyone from the other regions, I normally only play in EU, so to see people like Asia region, Middle East, and also shout out to the one OC duo, Alex and Worthy.
Thank you so much, Flowis, and I can't wait to watch the rest of the games with you, but we're gonna be heading back to the desk for now.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Fortnite fans, if y'all are up in here, please go say what's up to Flowis. He's absolutely amazing, super wholesome, but, as much as I want to talk more about what happened in game number 2, getting word game number 3 is ready. We're getting closer and closer to the halfway mark, so don't miss out. DJ producer, 2 friends will be here for the halftime show right after this next game. So let's get on into this next one. Casters?
You know what they say, time flies when you're having fun. We're already into game 3 in just a few short moments, and it's been an impressive performance so far by both Cooper and Miro.
I must say, man, if Miro does it again, the strike back, the potential, the explosion that we've seen come out of him so far has been incredible. Let's do it one more time. Game 3. Game 3 of the grand finals is here. It is time to see how this one's gonna play out already. We already know that 14 players have fallen both games back-to-back in these early moments. That means 7 duos have it out for one another.
This is the moments here that kind of make yourself one of the best in the world. This is the last game before that halfway point. You gotta get as high up on the leaderboard as possible. You don't want to leave it to those final moments. But you know what it is from games 1 to 3. Kanata and Agers, Thomas and Malabuka yet again. You even see shots coming in, but Kanata takes damage.
Oh.
Thomas is already half health, and the fight has barely just begun. Kanata gets the first strike. Thomas goes down. Malabuka by himself. He's on the chase for Agers. Agers doesn't look like he has a weapon. It's all up to Kanata, and he strikes while the iron's hot.
2 for 1, back and forth. Kanata, Agers have an opportunity now to potentially run away with it. The problem that they have, though, is how far can they take it when the chance is in front of them?
Uh-oh, I already see Baka that's down. Giannis and Reason, they go for that 50-50 at the top of the tower. Pars, he hasn't even been able to launch pad over, and that's not going to be an option. They both got ARs and SMGs to go ahead and take them down if they try to make that a part of their game plan. Now it's all about the hunt. They even get a shield briefcase. Uh-oh, this is a very, very daring play. Pars just go ahead and bulldoze his way through. He's trying to make magic happen. Shots on the both base players. Pars almost does it. Takes down Reason, but Giannis saves the day.
So close, and he seals the deal in the final moments. You wouldn't think it would be possible, but he does do it. Here's Chicho, here's Trulex. They have TK nearby. TK had that explosive entrance coming out. Of course, that lower bracket, they managed to turn online, and already they have taken down his teammate. Unfortunate for TK now. He's gonna have to figure this one out. Play this one as a solo for now. Meanwhile, Muzz and Paper getting active here.
Ready to battle it out. They changed up their drop spot. Normally going over towards Breakwater Bay. They qualified to the FNCS Global Championship. They qualified to the grand finals over towards Breakwater Bay, but sometimes you got to be adaptable in the bush, trying to go for a hide and seek style play. Paper getting taken down low. Muzz there with the bait and switch to try to go ahead and save the day, but they got to be careful. Nisha and Tini yet again, all around the map, all around the world. They're ready to take that top spot.
Misha and Tina might be the most flexible duo in this lobby right now, and they are showing how it can be effective even while you try new strategy. But no, Bryce comes in. He's got his attention to put on the matter. Where is Chubbs here? Will he back him up? Misha now has to back out of here. We have spoken too soon. Paper will get the final finish, but Bryce got the knock, so the rewarded points will go to them.
Invitations were sent out to everybody this weekend. You can join the party if you want to. If you want to take that chances, but Paper and Muzz get taken down. They get cleaned up by Bryce and Chubbs, who already have 4 eliminations so far. Impressive way to start game 3.
What a great spot to be in right now for Bryce and Chubbs. Bryce and Chubbs, the lower bracket duo that definitely performed, I would say, above average, finishing up towards that top 3 by the end of the day, putting themselves in the conversation. Upper bracket day, they were contested. They had a bit of a difficult time up in the north side, but right now could be their chance to turn things around. 4 eliminations, what a way to start the game.
And you know, our first 2 games were decided by teams who already have a victory royale throughout the weekend. Bryce and Chubbs have one as well, so that trend could continue. As TK goes down to Chicho, he gets cleaned up, probably trying to go for Quanti's reboot card. So they're going to be out of this game early on. But Cooper and Miro, I like this. They go ahead and get it uncontested. They loot up. They kind of switch to figure out who's going to go for the early surge, who's going to go down into that vault and try to clean up all that loot.
Jumping over to Batman Booga, Rapid. We've seen so far having to play solo a fair amount, losing Batman Booga a little earlier than we would have liked the last round or so. But this drop spot, man, Mega City, obviously highly contested, plenty of action to unfold here. And then if you just peer off to the outside, you have teams like Acorn and Cold constantly hovering around, so you never really are safe inside this big city. We jump over with Kanata. David says Kanata already starting to look up and over. Getting a little dangerous here.
And you can see his streak. He's the only player in the world to go for 20 for 20, reaching a grand finals. He won his first one in the FNCS Major 3. He's looking to go back-to-back in some ways and take this global championship by storm, but this game needs to count.
All right, let's just say that one more time. Kanata is the only person in the world to have made every single FNCS Grand Finals and also perform extremely well. His top 10 performances, by the way, you can hold a candle to it. It'll stand strong, but Kylie is gonna fall here to Fastroki. Oh, to the hands of Datus and Steen. So from the Frenzy Farms, they come south and they influence Kylie and Fastroki with the quick finish.
That's huge. This team has been slowly but surely upping up their firepower game after game throughout the weekend. It's only a matter of time before they hit their final form. But Reet and Ritual, they've been out of this world so far, consistently performing at the top level. Not only online, though, they brought that skill here to the big stage. And see if they can keep it up, but they're close by, neck and neck with both Edgy and Duke. I think a lot of these teams know the risk of taking an early game fight. And so Edgy and Duke just continue on with their rotation. They're trying to not take too many risks early on. We'll save those for the late game.
Now we tune in one of the most seasoned here. Tayson setting up what could be a potential ambush alongside Merstash. They have the side angles, they have the information. A 3-2-1 is all it takes, and Kaizen is caught out. And that is what a professional duo will do to you. A moment is all it takes. If it were me, if it were you, it'd take forever to line up those shots, but they make it look so easy, so quick, so deadly.
It was more than just a two-player 3-2-1. Threats and Booga on the other side, who actually were the ones able to steal that one away. If I thought 2 players were hard to survive, 4 players is literally impossible. I feel bad for Kaizen, but luckily for him, his teammate is still left alive. You see him floating around in the mini-map, ready to kind of make an attempt at that reboot card. Fighting alone is not something anybody wants to do, even if they're separated like this. Cammy and Seti going for that forecast tower, which is a huge part of their game plan.
But not only that, they just took down MK Papa.
Ooh.
So Shalom is by himself up in this box right here. Cammy making a move for it, potentially thinking he can go in to seal this. No, they're just gonna move along here. In the meanwhile, we should look at how this happened. Take a look. Scoped weapons in hand. MK Papa slides across. Oh, they were trying to get that forecast tower themselves, but no, caught out in the open. They get burned.
It's just one of those things, man. You don't necessarily plan for another team to just be hiding in bushes all around, but I feel like that's one of the most simple strategies you'd see some of these teams do, but it's honestly the small things that you tend to forget on the biggest stage. We talk about rotations. Queasy and Vino moving on over toward the west before they're going north towards Frenzy Fields to try to find their spot in towards the zone. They're easily one of the teams that can pick up multiple VRs throughout the day and kind of make up for lost time, boost up that leaderboard. But Vaniac and Karmi are going against their EU counterparts. iDrop and Mappy on the other side, getting denied piece control a few times. A quick peek view opportunity coming out from iDrop. He gets denied yet again. All of that real estate going over to Vaniac.
Feel a little deja vu here. Kanye down to the low ground. Vanya cannot quite find the shot there. iDrop playing off the heels, backing up by himself. The last time we were in this situation, it was Sensen and company on the hunt. This time it is Karmi. Will they close it a little faster? I wonder. They are drawing the attention of teams nearby. Should wrap this up quickly. Back he goes. Not many other options for him left here now.
That's, I feel like, what iDrop, best case scenario. Let another team come in this direction, start to fight off both Vaniac and Karmi. That way he can try to slither his way out, but no opportunities are coming. A big shot fires through, running out of resources. iDrop has to think outside of the box and get out of it as well. Multiple angles as Karmi finally goes in and finishes the job, letting nothing go through. It's a huge way for them to kind of start their own game.
Tayson and Merstash. The quick elimination there onto Waves Vidil. Unfortunately, Mr. Savage now has to back out of this drop here. Mr. Savage and Vidil have been staying late into Slappy Shores, but I don't think they expected Merstash and Tayson to still be here playing their drop. Let's take a look at that one more time. Merstash swings around the top. They're already hurt. Into the box he goes. Vidil wasn't quick enough to defend himself there, and was a very clean pickup. Meanwhile, Pink and Vico move right past Karmi there. Vaniac. Pink and Vico inside the top 5, chilling around 4th place at the moment. What a different story compared to the upper bracket, also taking their learnings out of the lower bracket into today.
Yep, and that's one thing I feel like for some of these players, you know, Vico probably one of the more mechanically skilled and gifted players on the EU region. Pink, one of the best IGLs. Sometimes it just takes a day to warm up. You know, you got the jitters, you got the nerves, different setup, different desk heights, different chairs, and sometimes you have to go through the ringer against a team like Acorn and Cold before you go ahead and say enough is enough. You start to go ahead and play to your full potential, and that's why you see him at the top side of the leaderboards. Snazy and Podesai, they're kind of making a very, very similar rotation that they have in Games Pass, going on over towards the Creaky compound, just boxing up. They're, I wouldn't say slap dab in the center of zone, but they're as close as they can be at the current moment, using a lot of those berries and just trying to see who rotates nearby. They just don't have a good line of sight over the lobby as of now, so that's why you see them rotating to try to get a better position, because information is critical in lobbies like this.
So many trees as well really hides how much danger is lurking nearby. Take a look at all the duos as we pan out here, including Cooper and Miro just nearby. Meanwhile, to the south, Cammy and Seti, of course, wrapping things up at the Frenzy Fields. Still danger nearby, though, so you always have to be careful. With that, let's get a word from Minnie.
Thank you so much, Monster. Now, let's take a little look at Cammy and Seti's off-spawn situation. We know it's a little bit dicey for them at the moment, but in this particular game, they have managed to take control of that main Frenzy building. Of course, that gives them access to the north side of the map. And of course, what is there lurking at the north side of the map? It's the Forecast Tower. If you don't know, that gives them access to know when the next zone is going to be and where it is going to be positioned. So, of course, that's absolutely vital information for them. We can see them taking out another player here as well, and thankfully for them, they actually get access to this Forecast Tower. Hopefully for them, it'll be a good game like game number 1.
Thank you so much for the pivotal information, Minnie. My zero build carry, I should say, when me, Vivid, and Zeke all squad up. And it's just very, very sure that we keep our eyes on both Cammy and Seti. They're one of 3 teams in this lobby that will have the awareness of where that zone's going to go thanks to that Forecast Tower. And if you're one of those teams that may have seen them, may know that it's a chance for Cammy and Seti, you might want to try to follow them around without getting targeted. But Rift Island, you know how competitive this has been. And now Mshari and Rue are going to be one of the first teams going up to it. And that's been the trend throughout the first games. If you make it to the island first, you more than likely capture it and get those 15 points.
You really have to. See, way to turn the game around for you right here. And honestly, Mshar and Rue kind of needed this. They've been struggling here. They've had a couple moments, so this will surely put them right back up toward that top 15 bracket now. Potentially even edging their way to top 10, as this island is worth 15 points. If you can secure it in time. We jump on over to Duke, though, for a moment here. Edgy is hurt and hasn't quite recovered just yet. I wonder what's happening, as he's getting pushed by Chubbs and Bryce. A little too much happening down low. Duke comes to the rescue, though. Great tags there, and finally Edgy gets his heels off, puts him right back into the game. He was waiting for those mushrooms to pop back in there.
This is what they do best. They're just slithering by for now. You know they can fight in the biggest moments of them all, but it's about using your brain, using your smarts, using a lot of the strategies that even got you to this point, and then very many more tricks up your sleeve to keep that train rolling. Ari and Giris, 531 damage above the threshold. You see them currently positioned in 12th place on the leaderboard. And this being the last game before the half, I feel like it's pivotal for a team where they're positioned, if they want to be in the conversation and not force themselves to have massive games, to do well here in this third game.
Looking at that top 10. Now into the top 15. Look at how close it is. Points barely separating one another. Mr. Savage finds himself in a little fight. Some action here. Fnajian, what an incredible shot. How do you hit that before he even can realize? And now Vidil has to clutch up here. Vidil cannot allow him to wait this one out. And by the way, they need this damage. They actually have to force these fights here. So should he save up, should he clutch up here, it'll be okay. You know, Fnajian wants to turn things around and get the full finish. So Vidil does have to be careful.
Ooh, even third-party shots coming.
Oh, he saves him just in time.
Outside of the zone and inside as well. The breacher for Fnajian is going to be the huge moneymaker here, but a nice shot from Vidil, trying to make up for him going down early on in the game. He burns! Fnajian says, you are out of the lobby.
Oh my gosh. That was the grossest shot of the day by far. Watch it one more time. Look at how quick this was. You think it was over here, but he hits it just in time.
Didn't even let him
my God.
pop the slurp juice. He didn't even give him enough time to heal. He just went in trying to finish it off. But those are the risks you take. When you get rebooted, you're forced to get surged yet again. That's exactly what happens when you can't control your own destiny. But an actual contested fight for this Rift Island. It's the game before the half, like I keep saying, so a lot of these teams realize how valuable these points actually are. But these teams, if they don't have enough heals, you can only stay up here for so long. You see the zone is pulling away from Rift Island, so it might be one of those teams that have the heals down that are willing to expend it.
It makes sense that Bask and Hen are here, as this is a part of their strategy. Secure these drops, secure the Rift Island, get these other points, these extra points. There's a lot of different ways to secure the lead. Datus and Stain are also here again too, constantly finding themselves in the vicinity. So far, so good. Gripey and Flixie are alive. Kanata and Agers are just nearby as well, so trying to make do, trying to make the best of this game.
57 above the damage threshold. It's just enough. It's just enough for some of these teams to rotate in, trying to go for a sneaky sniper shot. Narrowly misses that one. Probably saw the glint coming off of it as soon as he scoped in, allowing him to kind of watch out. You see, they don't want to go all the way to the side of that mountain. They want to keep some elevation just in case it does pull in this direction. You don't want to have to battle back.
Source may have found an important elimination onto Seti, so you may know where the zone is, but it doesn't mean you're absolutely safe. Cammy turns that story around, potentially finding his elimination, putting up just enough defense, but for how long? Now Cammy has to play this out by himself.
Yeah, I don't know how possible it is going to be, but if he does have that reboot card and he holds his position, he's not too far off from that reboot van as well, but it is going to be out of zone. It is going to cause a lot of attention in your direction, but the possibilities are endless. We've seen things like that happen before in the past. He's just trying to figure out how he's going to survive this moment. Forget about those later plans, but for now, I think it's going to be go for that rocket ramp. Forget the reboot, forget all the loot, and even that team I was fighting. Let's just go ahead and go in towards zone, and you can see it's the least congested side as of now. Nobody's really begun their rotate from across the water.
What's crazy about this as well is Cammy was considering taking more mobility in crash pads, but because he was spooked out of his spot, he actually couldn't even secure it. He couldn't change his loot up. He had to just leave. So this isn't even the most ideal situation for him as of right now, as he was fumbling through his builds. But Cooper Miro, the problem children of NA right here, setting up shop. Forget that. The problem children of the Globals right now. They are second and second back-to-back. This is by far the toughest game for them, as they don't have much of a material count to play with, and they've been found out.
This is big, because if Miro and Cooper end up with the top finish yet again, they're 39 points ahead of the next best player in team right now. Placement points have not even begun to set in, so if they can continue that trend, they will be the team to beat in the second half.
This is kind of crazy though. Take a look at how this situation is playing out. There's not a soul on this side of the map. Very rarely this late in the game will you even have a chance to farm loot so casually in a competitive lobby. And things might have just aligned for Cooper and Miro. We could be seeing Destiny line up.
If they somehow win this game, get a top 5, you have to rewind the tape and think of that moment right there.
That
one. Chance to breathe and stabilize, refarm up, just like you're saying. It is going to be huge, but there's even teams rotating nearby in their direction. But from outside of the zone to the inside of the zone, Pink and Vico, they're waiting for them to go down, because they're one of the teams that is at the top side of that leaderboard as of now, waiting to take away that spot. And honestly, consistency is key, and they've been one of the most powerhouse teams on the weekend, if you're minus day one, of course.
Well, if you look at that top 10, there was definitely room at the top, as 4 teams have fallen just beyond 5th. Peterbot has a chance. Byla has a chance. They're just right there. This game already 2 eliminations, put them inside the top 10. That solo run from Peterbot in game number 2 was incredible.
This is exactly what we came to see. and came to know out of Peterbot overall. The Invitational played with somebody who isn't Byla, and I feel like that's the thing. It's business for them. Every time they go and try to do it with someone else, the results aren't necessarily there, but every time they reunite, they impress everybody watching, and they're looking to do that once more here.
It's not a better way to make $1 million over a weekend.
True.
Be the best.
Yo, whoa.
Yo, Drag.
What's up, bro?
So, yeah, by the way, I was also streaming, so I have 2 streams live right now.
Well, guess what?
For Globos, yeah,
I just,
yeah, I saw what you did on stream because I was trying to end my other one. You, like, camped at the vault and then you one-pumped the siren.
No, but, and I trapped someone. There was someone went in the vault, right? I trapped them in it.